We're going to be talking about the TSMS Certificate Management Audit dates and how that relationship will work to the TSMS Certificate issuance dates. So kind of connecting the dots on that. We've recently gotten a letter from the Towing Vessel National Center of Expertise that was distributed out January 6th of this year. All third-party organizations received this letter from them, and they basically are providing some guidance on management audit timeframes as related to TSMS certificate renewals and the issuance date based upon the audit date. So some real important things here, especially for the operators and when you auditors are working together to schedule the renewal management audit. So some key points from the TVNCOE's guidance. You'll see we'll start off on the left side here, and then we'll work over to the right side. So first, starting on the left side, when you have a TSMS certificate and you do the audit more than 3 months from the TSMS certificate expiration date, you'll have these basically 3 points. You'll complete the audit. The TSMS certificate issue date will be the audit completed, will be the date the audit was completed. TSMS certificate expires 5 years from the date of that TSMS certificate. So basically it's pretty clean, if you will, other than it's a consistent 5-year period. Can keep in mind you're backing it up. So if you're auditing more than 3 months from your TSMS certificate expiration, you're going to reset your 5-year time period. Now, if you audit within 3 months or less, which is pretty common, same kind of process happens. You get the audit, the TSMS certificate issue date, and the audit date, that's going to be the same, but the TSMS certificate will expire 5 years from the current TSMS certificate expiration date. So that's the big differential between the two. So you end up with varied results in the period of validity from anywhere from 5 years up to 5 years and 3 months. Earlier than 3 months or more than 3 months, you're going to reset your TSMS certificate. If you do it 3 months or less, you're going to keep your same rotation, if you will. An example here, TSMS certificate expires February 1st, 2023. The renewal management audit performed on 10/1/2022. Then the TSMS certificate will reflect the audit completion date, and issue date will be 10/1/2027. So you got that solid 5 years of validity. Versus the other side, if you're where traditionally, I guess you could say most people try to reside. So 3 months or less. Similar example, February 1, 2023 expiration date on your current TSMS. Then you do the management audit on November 10th. Then the TSMS certificate will reflect that the audit completion is on November 10th, and then the expiration date will be February 1st, 2028. So TSMS certificate expires February 1, 2023. Now it's going to be February 1, 2028. We're going to have an issuance date of November 10, 2022. So that's a little bit more than 5 years is what I'm trying to say.
Caleb, I wanted to ask you a question. Audit completion date. Can you explain a little bit more about what that means?
Sure, absolutely. So audit completion date is first the auditor performs the audit, if you will. So this is the on-site activity where you're asking the questions and filling out the checklist in form.com. So that's performing the audit. Then it comes to submission process to TVIB. We get the corrective action plan, and then after it's all processed by TVIB, particularly the review of the findings, the corrective action plan, then when we are ready at that point, we will issue a final accepted report. So the audit completion is the date that TVIB produces the final accepted report. So that's audit performed by the auditor on site. Then we have, we'll say, the review process. And after that review process is satisfactory, then we will create a final accepted report that gets distributed to the Coast Guard, as well as the operator and the auditor. So that is the date of completion. Does that help, Lauren? Hopefully that was clear enough for everybody.
Thank you.
It is a very good point because, you know, we don't want people to think that when they do the audit, that is the audit completion date. So kind of think of it like this. You're performing the audit on one day, but the audit report completion doesn't occur until that final report is issued by TVIB. Great question.
We did get a question, so if you can speak to TSMS certificates that were issued before this letter came out.
great question. So the Coast Guard has said audits that have transpired, excuse me, put it this way, any interaction TVIB has done to the Center of Expertise as far as renewing TSMS certificates prior to the date of this letter, or any that were right in that window, nothing has to change. They want it to change from here forward. Okay. As always, have a safe day, and look forward to talking to you all again in the future.